Jesus comes in. He says, here I am. I'm raised from the dead. And they said, we don't believe it. He said, well, look at my hands. Look at my ribs. Look at my side. Look at the holes in my side where they stuck. It says, they were amazed. They couldn't believe. Like, oh, I can't believe it. Like in dismay. And Jesus says, believe. He didn't say understand, he said believe. He says believe, and you will know the way where I am going. Now Thomas says to him, doubting Thomas we call him, says, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How do we know the way? Now, is Jesus lying? Is he lying to his disciples? He don't lie to his disciples, right? So, Thomas says, I don't know. And Jesus says, oh, sure you do. So Thomas knows things that he doesn't know he knows. Like Thomas and the other disciples there that didn't believe either, we know things that we don't know we know. Thomas believed Jesus. He followed Jesus. He was right along with the other disciples. They were all there together. He ended up in the upper room with everybody else, just like all the rest of them, Peter, James, and John. We don't read a lot about Thomas, not a lot in there about him, but he was there too. And he continued to believe. And he says, because you continue in the words that I gave, you will know. And you will know freely. And you will know things, and things will come alive to you at the right time that are already in you. Because you know things you don't know you know. It says in verse 6, Jesus says to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. So Jesus is the way. I'm going to skip over to Luke. I'll run this down and I'll close it out. Luke chapter 24, verse 36. It says, while they were telling these things, he himself stood in their midst and said to them, peace be to you. Okay, so this is what I was kind of getting into. Got ahead of myself a little bit. He said, hey, have peace, have fun, have joy. I'm here. Let's party. That's what that means. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy one another. All the dying is over. All the curses are over. All the hanging on the tree is over. All the beatings are over. All the tryings are over. It's peace time now. You can live in peace and joy that you couldn't obtain and live in before. Why? Because, and I'll just give you a little glimpse of this. You can go study it out. I don't have time to get here. But if you go back into Genesis, God says, when Adam and Eve fell, God says, now that they've eaten of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we have to separate them from the tree of life lest they live this way forever. Well, Jesus is the bread of life. But Jesus can now give them things that he couldn't give them before he was crucified and raised from the dead. He had to remove that cherubim that was placed to separate us from the tree of life. Okay, and I'm going to get there in a minute. I'll show you where things are going to open up. But God says, I have to separate them from the tree of life. You're talking about suffering? Listen to this is suffering. Talk about the sufferings of Jesus. And I'm not going to take anything away from Jesus being beaten. That hurt. You get hit with a whip, it hurts. The crown thorns, it hurts. That's suffering. That's physical suffering. But think about the number of years, all these thousands of years. Jesus is our cure. Jesus is our cure. And he loves the Father, and he loves us enough to die for us. That's a whole lot of love. So he knows I am the cure. I am the tree of life. I am what they need to live and have life. I am their cure. But I can't cure them. until the curse is dealt with. So if I had a child and my child was sick, and I was the cure for my child, I know how to cure my child. I know how to cure my wife. She's ill. She's going to die. It's inevitable. She's going to die. She's not going to live forever. But I have the way to cure her. If allowed, I would cure her. Wouldn't you cure your wife? I would cure mine, my children, whatever. I'd go just like that. Bam, it's done. No questions asked, right? Because I love them. But Jesus had to wait. And he had to watch all the children of the Father die for years and years and years and years and years, knowing he was the cure. I am the tree of life. I am the bread of life. I am the water of life. My blood gives life. My blood on the mercy seat brings us back in engagement with the Father, so we're to be one with the Father again.